All right, guys. Well, thank you for hopping on. I know we've got people from a few different teams, which is kind of exciting to have a bunch of us here all getting to listen to Taryn talk, and I'm really excited about it. For those who don't know me, I'm Shayna, and I'm the founder of Team Goal Crushers, and I was lucky enough to meet Taryn at the New Leadership Conference this last January in LA, and I just absolutely love her. She is such a sweetheart, and her team has just been killing it, and I'm super impressed. I keep seeing all these things pop up. She just had her 2-year anniversary. She just qualified for 5-star, which is amazing. And I thought to myself, I need this girl to talk to my team. Her team just absolutely kills it. And I'm really excited to see what she has to bring to the table and what she has that can kind of help us, because I'm sure we're all going to get some nuggets from this, whether you're my team, Taryn's team, Catherine's team, Andy's. I know there's a lot of us on here, but I'm just really excited. So I'm going to just pass it right off to you and let you get going, because I've got my pen and paper ready, and I heard what you got to say.
All right. So first, thank you, all of you for hopping on. I'm just grateful to have you all here. So my hope is that I can offer you some nuggets and inspiration, and I'm just going to get right to it. So a little about me and why creating a success club culture has kind of been my jam this year. Starts with a little bit of my story, and I'm not going to go into all the details of my story because we'll be here forever. But the important stuff that kind of links into what I'm going to be talking about. So I was actually not a customer at all when I started. I actually had a burned copy of T25, and when I started writing on Facebook about it, a friend reached out to me and asked me to be in her challenge group. I did it. I was a quiet creeper for a few weeks, and I slowly but surely started posting. And as you guys know from being in challenge groups, I saw everyone drinking Shakeology. So I messaged my friend who had added me, and I was just like, what are these shakes? And as soon as she laid the price out, I was just like, there's no way. We were broke. We were a 1-income military family. My husband and I shared a car. We were on WIC checks, the whole 9. So there was just no way. It wasn't an option for me. So in having that conversation, my coach threw out the coaching opportunity. It was a no-brainer for me. I really didn't take too much time to think about it because it was free as a military spouse. So in my head, I was like, well, I might as well sign up. It's not costing me anything. And if I can get my shakes covered, that's all I care about. If I make some spending money, then great. So I signed up, and I started sharing right off the bat. And I got a lot of initial interest just in what I was doing. I sold my very first challenge pack within my first 2 weeks of being a coach. And when I messaged my coach about how excited I was about it, she mentioned how if I sold 2 more by the end of the month, that I would not only be covering my costs, but that I would qualify for Success Starters. She went on to tell me about how I could win my ticket for Summit, what Success Club was, the whole 9, and I was like determined. I was like, I'm hitting Success Club. Whatever this is, I don't know much about it, but all I know is it's going to pay for my shakes and get me my Success Starter ticket. So I just dove in, and I guess you can say I was an all-in coach on the retail side of things from day one. But that's important to know, and is a huge tie-in to what I'm going to be talking about, because while I never had it in my head to build a team, I didn't even realize that those challenge pack sales and those Success Club points were my pipeline of future coaches. And that's the first thing I'm going to hit on tonight before I even talk about the little things I do to encourage Success Club within my team. But just that we are so lucky that Beachbody as a company literally gives us Success Club as a measuring tool for our growth. That's how you have to think of it, because that's exactly what it is. And over the last 2 years, I've definitely had my fair share of times as a coach and my coaches that have, complained that we don't get repeat Success Club points, or that we hope and pray that like a repeat customer slips through the cracks and we get extra points. And I just want to tell you to change your mindset if that's you at all. Just because we should be grateful that the system is in place the way it is. I may seem like just retail to you and points, but those challenge pack buyers need to grow your foundation of your business, because that's where you are going to thrive. Your challenge pack buyers and new challenge pack buyers are going to be the ones who have the best results because they have Shakeology with their program. They're going to be the ones who are excited and eventually become your coaches. That's why we only get points for newbies. And sorry guys, I'm like stumbling over my words here because I lost my place. But we always want to have new people to add, is my point. Because that's your pipeline and your foundation, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So that is why Success Club is so, so, so important. And that's why every top coach will preach that to you. So going off of that, I want to share with you guys a big mistake I made for a very long time with my team, so you don't have to make the same one that I made, and that's making light of Success Club. For a long time, I kind of petted and cheerleaded my coaches along. I caught myself saying, oh, you know, it's okay. There's much more to this than Success Club, or if you don't hit Success Club, it isn't the end of the world. And I kind of just cheered them on instead of coaching them. But our job, once we sign a coach, is to coach them. And it's to coach them in building a thriving business. And I think a lot of times we get nervous or scared that we're going to scare them off or be pushy, but that's what they've signed up for. And if they didn't want a thriving business, if they didn't want to learn those things, they wouldn't have signed up as a coach. So when I went to the NLC, I kind of just had a mindset change where I was like, if I have hit Success Club 10, literally every single month since I've been a coach, consistently for almost 2 years, and I have a thriving business, how on earth could I sell them short and tell them that it's not a big deal and it's not the end all, and oh, don't beat yourself up if you're not hitting it, because I don't want to make them feel bad. Our job is to help them improve and to help their business improve. And reality is Success Club is a really, really big deal. If you want your business to be growing into a lucrative one, you need to be making it a non-negotiable yourself, and you need to be hitting it. And you need to instill that in your coaches from the beginning so they hit it, because that cycle is the recipe to your team's success. There's nothing worse than seeing a coach of yours who you know needs this badly and coming to you and saying, this isn't working. Why isn't my team growing? Why aren't I hitting coaches? And in hindsight, for me, those people were people that I cheerleaded at the beginning, and I never made Success Club a big deal to them. So it kills me, because if I would have created that hunger for it from the beginning, how much more our team would have grown and how much further along their businesses would be at this point. So I guess that's my first big thing I just want to preach to you guys before I go into all the fun stuff that I do, is just don't make light of it. Make it known that it's important. Make it known that it's a non-negotiable, and make sure you're having your coaches set goals for it every single month, no matter what. Because every top coach, any conference that you go to, any Beachbody event you get the pleasure of going to, every top coach will tell you Success Club, Success Club, Success Club. And that's because it's your growth factor and it's your pipeline, and that is going to be your foundation to thrive down the road. So, so setting Success Club goals. So what I started doing with my coaches this year is a weekly check-in board. And I used to actually never do this. And then I kind of started doing it monthly, and then I started doing it bi-weekly, and now I actually do this every week. I post it on Sundays, and you guys, seriously, that weekly check-in makes such a huge difference. So just don't think that it's too much or that it gets like repetitive or anything like that. But basically what I do is I make a big graphic, and I always do a graphic because I feel like people comment on them more, participate on them more than if I just like write a post. But I make a graphic with Success Club check-in in big letters, and I ask the following questions. What are you promoting this week? Where are you currently with Success Club, and what is your goal for the week in regards to how many people you're going to help get into a challenge pack? How many people are you inviting to the coaching opportunity this week? And if we have a sneak peek, I'll ask how many they have attending. And again, some people are like, weekly, isn't that too much? Do people get tired of it? And I can tell you from personal experience that no, do it weekly, because it keeps your movers and your shakers goal setting. And that's so important to keep their fire lit, because it's giving people specific things to work towards. And some people get intimidated by even having like the coach sign up goal weekly, but don't, because I'm telling you, if you get them to put that goal down on paper to the team, the movers will work at it. And the bottom line is, if they're doing their 3 vital behaviors, like they're probably telling you they are, they should be doing that anyway. They should be inviting not only to challenge groups, but also to the coaching opportunity. Another reason why the check-ins are so important is your coaches need to see you in the trenches with them. So you also need to be commenting on this post. And you need to be putting your numbers down, whether they're low or whether they're high. So don't feel embarrassed if you're like their team leader and you're at 0 or 2 Success Club points and you're already into the month. Because they need to know that even if you're low, you're always working towards a goal, no matter what. And the thing is just like as an example, in March and April, I started the month, I was like 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks into the month, and I had 3 points and I had 6 points in the next month. And hesitantly, I was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't write it. Maybe I should like increase my number a little bit and make it look like I'm higher up. And I was like, no, because just like our customers need to relate to us, your coaches need to relate to you too. So they need to see how far you come when you are that low, and it keeps you pushing for big goals too. And those months that I was at 3 and 6, I ended with 15 points and 11 points. So make weekly check-ins and participate in them yourself. And you'll be surprised, it'll get you inviting to the coaching opportunity more. It was actually a big wake-up call for me personally, because I was putting out, how many people are you inviting to coaching? And then I was like, oh shoot, I haven't invited anybody yet this week. I think we get caught up in a monthly picture, and I think weekly is so much more important, just to have a strategy for your month. And it's huge when they see you climb out from those low numbers, and they need to know that the month isn't over till it's over, and you have to set that bar. They need to see you achieving it, because 99% of the time, your coaches are going to do what you do, not what you say. So you can preach and you can post those things and ask people to check in, but if you're not doing it, it just makes a really, really big difference. So keep yourself involved as much as you want them to be involved. So another thing I've done a couple times, and this call actually made me realize I have to do this every single month, is I make a Success Club strategy calendar. I don't know if you guys remember the calendar that was kind of floating around TKO back, I think it was during like a team cup. But basically I make a calendar, and I mark each Friday of the week with how many Success Club points you should be like aiming for to get to, say, Success Club 10 by the end of the month. I'll usually make the final number a little higher. I think when we did it for Cup, we put it at like, it was super high, but let's just say 15 for now. But as an example, if we put Success Club 10 as your goal, I would make a calendar, and the first Friday of the month, 1 challenge pack sold. The second Friday of the month, 2 more challenge packs sold. The third Friday of the month, 1 challenge pack sold. The fourth Friday of the month, 2 challenge packs sold. And then that ends the month with Success Club 10. And I love doing that because, again, it's something specific they're always working towards each week. But it's so much less intimidating when people can look at something and say, oh, I only have to sell 1 challenge pack, instead of being like, how am I going to get to 10? How am I going to get to 10? When they see those small numbers of 1 and 2 or even 3 at the end of each week, they add up and they seem so much more attainable. They're not so scary for your coaches to look at. Another thing to always remember too is that if you consider yourself like an inbox boss or like a conversation boss, meaning that your conversations lead to challenge packs frequently, our job as coaches is make that duplicatable for your coaches. So provide scripts for them. I know it can be tedious to make files and Word docs and all of those things, but seriously, you guys, it's so easy. I've literally gone into my inbox and just copy and pasted a conversation. I don't do a lot of screenshots because then I feel like you're kind of giving names of your customers, but I'll copy and paste a conversation and put it right into a file in my team page. hold on 1 second. Sorry. I'm like rambling here and losing my place. But yeah, so we actually just got finished doing a pretty hardcore diamond training last month. And the scripts, honestly, were everything in that training. Catherine and I did it together, and people just appreciated them so much. And the success of them showed in the challenge pack sales, in Success Club points, in coach signups, just the whole nine. So don't be afraid to share your conversations with your team. They'll just appreciate them, and it helps them so much. And, you know, not everybody, some people have a lot of learning to do in that department, or they're not as comfortable in that department. And, you know, you can read something from, you know, if you go one-on-one with one of your coaches and you're like, okay, well, shoot me what you discussed. And you could be like, oh, let me help you with this. So you can avoid that by giving them scripts ahead of time and putting that on your team page so they have something to work off of. Another thing going off of that, what I like to do is like conversation critiques, and I'll do that by matching people up with partners. And this was actually from an awesome training that Catherine put together, and I've kind of been working with that with my coaches who struggle with conversations and getting challenge packs sold. But basically what you can do is set up partners within your team. And I usually take people that aren't that like close of friends. So if you have coaches that tend to like stick together, I like to pull other people so they really do construct each other without just being nice to each other. But basically you'd set up partners and let them have mock conversations as a customer and a coach, and then give each other feedback. And you can have your coaches do this within private messages. You can open up a separate training group for it. I've even had them do it do like a three-way thing with me. I've had like 2 coaches in a group and myself, and I've kind of given them feedback on each other. But it's huge because, again, sometimes you read over a conversation and you're like, if you just mention this, or, you know, don't discuss this yet, or, you know, get more personal here. Sometimes they just need that guidance, especially when they're starting out. So it's just a really great way to try and help your coaches with creating the value of a challenge pack in their conversations. Another great thing our network did is my upline had the idea of creating a Success Club boot camp. And we were actually just talking about tweaking this and kind of revamping it for our team. But basically it was a 5-day training group. And we used to run it the second to last week of every month. And what we did was just hone in on topics that would drive challenge pack sales. Each of the diamond leaders on our team took a day, Monday through Friday, and we each made a video and an assignment to go with it. So for instance, like day 1 was just why Success Club? Why is it important? Day 2 was creating the value of a challenge pack. Day 3 was sealing the deal and closing the sale. You know, day 4, we did follow-ups and creating urgency. And day 5 was just Success Club consistency. And we did little mini assignments with them. We kept them really short and sweet, you know, things that people wouldn't get behind on that they really could do throughout the week. It doesn't have to be exactly like ours. My advice is to just think of what gets you to Success Club, and just break that down into little mini webinars for your coaches. Another thing I do now, every single time I sign a new coach, is my welcome email. When I look back to my welcome email when I first started, I like cringe. I'm like, I was so not helpful. It was just like, welcome to the team. So now I actually attach videos right off the bat, and not just dialogue, because I feel like sometimes when everything is in writing, it can be super overwhelming and confusing. So I don't even write anything about Success Club or 50 PV or all of those things. I actually just attach like really short and sweet YouTube videos for what is Success Club, what is Success Club starters, and how to be an active coach. And I literally just say, hey, these are 3 really important videos. They just give you the basics off the bat before we start our trainings. And I just link them, and that's it. I used to make this huge, ridiculous mistake of not even doing getting started right calls. And if I did, I would spend like an hour trying to explain all of that. So I just find that like really short, sweet, and direct is so much more helpful. And when you lay it all out from them from the beginning, they come out of the gate swinging from the get, knowing why Success Club is important and why it's so worth it. And I can tell you that like my new coaches that I've been signing just since like January, when I really started just tweaking things and doing that, have come into the game so much more prepared and not feeling so lost with everything or overwhelmed with everything. They come in with a Success Club mindset from the beginning. They're excited about it from the beginning, and they're aiming for, you know, success starters from the beginning. Another thing that I've been doing is one-on-one calls at the beginning of each month with anyone who's struggling to hit Success Club or Rank Advance. So basically anyone who wants one, you know, my coaches know they can inbox me anytime and tell me, you know, I just need a one-on-one, and I'll Zoom with them. But I basically help them strategize how to hit the goals that they want. So whether it's, you know, if they're saying, you know, Success Club 5 is always a non-negotiable no matter what. If their goal is 10, then I do more with them. But whether it's me telling them, okay, let's aim to make this many posts a day, or let's aim to get, you know, your spouse emerald by, you know, the 15th of the month. So that way by the end of the month, you have this many coaches. I basically just give them dates and help them strategize their coach goals and their Success Club goals, challenge pack goals, PD goals. Anything that you know that helps you, break it down for your coaches. You know, and don't be afraid of getting one-on-one with your coaches. I know you guys see Shayna as your leader, but your PS coaches might not see Shayna as their leader because you're the coach who signed them up. And regardless of how scary it seems, believe me, they're going to be more accountable to you. They're going to be more accountable to you, and especially if you do a one-on-one call and help them make a plan for specific goals to meet. You know, just knock out the details. And I always, at the end of my one-on-ones, I actually take notes like they would. I take my own notes of what we're discussing, and at the end of our call, I make a Word doc and I email it to them. And I tell them, okay, so here's, you know, all of your goals and the plans that we talked about on our call, and I'm going to check in with you at the end of the month to see where you're at. So that way they know, you know, and they have to be accountable to what they told you. And I wish I had started doing that sooner. And along with that is make a team page, you guys. It is so important for the camaraderie of your future team. I don't care if you have one coach signed up. And this again comes from mistakes I made. I waited so long, Catherine can tell you, to make my own page. I was like milking my time in Limitless Nation. And I just waited so long. And it's just so silly. Even if you have one coach, seriously, make a team page. Start creating your own culture from the get. You know, your own tribe, even if you have to copy and paste everything from Shayna and put it into your team page at the time, you know, that's fine, but it gets your coaches fired up for you, you know, and doing these goals and recognition posts and all of that stuff for your coaches. So that just brings me into the next, you know, thing, which is big, and that's acknowledgement. And acknowledgement is so huge, you guys. And I know you all see it with like the big, you know, the big Success Club boards that we make and all the points that go up. I started to do it where I do it for everyone that has even one Success Club point now. You know, a while back when my team was small, I used to just do Success Club 5s and 10s. And I wish even then, when I just had like a handful of coaches hitting, that I always did it, even for that one point. But basically every month, you know, which I'm sure you guys do too, but I make a big Success Club graphic, and I do our entire downline. So I don't just do my PS coaches. I do everyone. And I include myself for the same reasons mentioned before about the check-ins. You know, they have to see you up on that board, whatever number you're at. Just being the example and showing what's possible. And I basically do the Changing Lives Club, which is, you know, 1 point and up. I do the 3 Lives and Up Club, which is Success Club 5 and up. And I do the 5 Lives and Up Club for those who hit Success Club 10. And I know doing your entire downline can seem like overbearingly huge and overwhelming. That's probably something I'll outsource at some point for someone else to do. But the put the work in and just do it, because the regular Success Club hitters' names up there is one thing, but when those coaches who work so hard just to get that 1 point, because we all know sometimes that takes serious work, especially when you're first starting, it really does fill their cup and it keeps them going, and it keeps them wanting it. So just make it a huge deal, post a photo, shout them out. I share it on my personal page too, and I tag as many people as I can. That too, I know it's tedious, but it's so worth it to do, because it really means a lot. I mean, think of yourself when you first started coaching, or even now, and how much that means to you when you see your name up on a board or shouted out, or just that you're highlighted. I do shout outs throughout the month in our team page too. So for instance, if someone's at Success Club 5 and it's only week 1 or 2 of the month, I shout them out. If someone sells their first challenge pack sale as a coach, I shout that out. Success Club starters, the whole 9. So just recognize everything. Nothing is too little to be a big deal. That makes sense. Do incentives. They're fun. They don't have to cost a lot. If you're not raking in the dough, you don't have to give stuff to everyone who hits Success Club, but you can do a raffle. Not even necessarily the month anymore, but I'll do things just to have people moving for goals. I'll do like whoever hits Success Club by the 10th, can win some cute workout headbands, or, Catherine's done water bottles and bracelets. But basically, you can do whoever hits Success Club by the 10th goes into the pot, and then, you pick out a name and they can win a cute tank. People just love goodies. It creates a fun environment on your page. It makes it a little competitive, and just get your coaches excited. I'm really big on recruiting too, and I preach recruiting to my coaches, because hello, you get a coach sign up with a challenge pack and you've just gotten Success Club points and built your team. So I'll do stuff like, hey, feeling generous, whoever recruits 2 coaches this week can get X, Y, and Z. So just get creative. When I first started coaching, because I was so broke, I would use stuff that I had new, of course, but just like around the house, even, the incentives that I would get from Beachbody for hitting Success Club, I would keep them and then offer them up as prizes later on. I would do an unopened shaker cup and some packets of Shakeology, or even just like Amazon Prime them, a PD book. It doesn't have to break the bank, but it makes it fun, and it makes it so your coaches, they go after it. Going off of this, another thing I'm going to do for June for my coaches, so if any of my coaches are on this call, you can get excited because I haven't even told you this yet. But I'm going to actually have my coaches team up in teams of 3 and do like our own little Success Club Cup. And then whatever team ends up with the most Success Club points for June, they're going to earn something cool. I haven't even decided yet. It might even be just like a call with like a higher up there coach. Whatever it is, but the teamwork stuff and Success Club goals, it just creates camaraderie, and it just keeps them going, and it keeps them excited. In the months ahead, they're going to see how hitting those numbers is going to lead to residual income from their HD orders and from getting new coaches on their team, and just, the whole 9. So, I hope that gives you guys a little bit of what goes on our team. I know I can ramble and talk fast because I'm from New York. So if any of you guys have questions, Shana, you're welcome to like unmute the line. If you guys want to know anything just about how I strategize my month, or the calls that I do with coaches, how to motivate those guys who just, they say they want it, but they're not hitting it. But the lines are, if anybody has questions, it's totally up to you.
Awesome. That was perfect. You gave me so many notes. I'm not even kidding. I'm sitting over here like writing frantically, because you have some like great ideas that I had never thought of, and just different ways of wording and saying things, which I absolutely love. So it was perfect. You did awesome, and I'm so excited. Does anybody have any questions that they want to ask Taryn?
Yeah, what is your top tip for motivating those who say they want this really bad but aren't hitting Success Club monthly?
Okay, so first I will say, first and foremost, coaches who just kind of are, the coaches who say, oh, I want this so bad, but nothing's going, and I'm trying, and I'm doing all these things, but I'm just not hitting Success Club. I actually kind of challenge them, and I'll say, you know, in a nice way, but I'll be like, okay, so what we're going to do this week is I want you to screenshot me your 3 vital behaviors that you do every day. So when you send your 3 messages on Monday and your 3 invites on Monday and your 3 posts on Monday, I want you to actually screenshot it to me so I can see it. Because what I've found is a lot of those coaches who say that they want it and they're doing all those things, when you challenge them to that, they're not doing their 3 vitals every single day. And Catherine and I actually started running little kind of success pod groups that's literally just your power hour check-ins off like the new coach trackers. But that's basically what I'll do. And it's funny because when you do that and they start screenshotting you their stuff, all of a sudden they start getting sales because they're like, oh crap, I really have to do this because I have to screenshot it to Taryn. So, don't be afraid to push them because they're telling you they want it. And they're, our job is to help them build a business. And I think that's where I kind of changed and did a 180 this year. Is just the longest time I had no tough love in me at all. And it's not, you don't have to be, be sweet as pie about it. Throw a million smiley faces in there. But just give them tasks, give them action-oriented tasks to send to you and show you that they are putting in the work. So that's my advice on that.
That's a good tip. I like that. Does anybody else have any questions for Taryn? Anything you want to ask her about? Everybody always gets super quiet. Don't be shy.
If you think of anything later that you're like, oh, I wanted to ask for this, you're welcome to shoot it to me and whatever.
You're awesome. All right, guys. Well, it looks like there aren't any other questions, but like she said, if you have anything or you're just too shy to ask on here, which don't be, it's just us. But if you are just too shy and you don't want to ask on here, shoot her over a message because she's amazing. And thank you so, so much for being on the call. I really appreciate you doing it and taking the time. It was like, seriously, I'm not even kidding. I took away like a bunch of notes from this. So I'm really excited.
I'm sitting here like, what did I miss? What did I miss? Because I ramble so much sometimes. I get like caught up in being excited, but I think I hit on everything. And honestly, the biggest, hugest thing that I've noticed like make serious changes in my team is giving them weekly things to work towards and having them say, okay, this is the points I'm aiming for. These are the challenge packs I'm aiming for. These are how many coaches I'm signing up this week. I think we get caught up in a monthly mindset, and when you set it up by the week, it just gives them something that they're diligently like working towards instead of, it's the last week of the month and then everybody's, buy one, get one free and all that, the post that we all scramble with to try and lock it in.
No, totally. I like that. So. All right, ladies. Well, before we all get off, I'm taking a picture of all of us because we're all adorable. So if you're on here, smile nice and pretty because you're all showing. I'm taking a picture. Anyway, thank you so, so much for being on. I'm super excited to start implementing some of this with my team too. And yeah, I really appreciate it, girl. I'm looking forward to seeing you in a couple months.
Thank you. No, I know, me too. And now, I'm going to get you back and have you host a call for me. So
of course, anytime.
But it was great to talk with you guys. I hope you took away some info, and I guess that is it. Have a great night.
Awesome. Good night, guys.